Good morning, YouTube. Backyard Harvest here. Just want to give you a quick update on how the garden's growing. We got a misty, moisty morning here. You can see the peas that we planted earlier, I guess about 5.5 weeks ago or so. They all came up pretty well. Just about 100% germination. Since that time, I've worked on my lattice work, and as you can see, I put up the netting, used bamboo across the top, across the bottom to hold the netting in place. And the peas, they're reaching for the trellis right now. They're starting to run. I don't know if you can see it or not, probably not. But they are grabbing the net. This whole thing will be full before you know it. In the meantime, I planted some Kentucky Wonder pole beans in the other half of the bed. And they're just starting to germinate right now. Then unfortunately, our weather forecast for tonight is 30 degrees. So I may just have wasted the seed. The way I have everything latticed up, it's going to be really hard to cover them up and try to protect them, so I may just have to plant new seed in a few days. That's what happens in the spring, and I figure what's a few dollars worth of seed versus a few weeks of jump on the garden. Helps to get one crop over with so you can plant the second one. So anyway, I may be a week or two behind on the beans, but they'll grow and they'll do fine. The onions that we planted earlier, you can see them, they're doing well. They're probably 10 inches to 12 inches high, still kind of spindly, but they're going to grow. In the meantime, I planted some eggplant right here in the center section and some cucumbers over here. Don't see any signs of the cucumbers germinating yet, which is great. I'm probably going to throw some more mulch on them for tonight. Try to keep them as warm as possible. But anyway, they should be fine. And over here, since I planted peas and everything, I planted some radishes in these pots along the fence. Later on in the season, I'll put some marigolds or something in here to attract the bees. But for right now, that's what we got going on. Let me move to another section of the bed. This is a new bed that I made just by piling some dirt up on the ground and adding some compost to it. As you can see, I had some cucumber seeds in my compost, and now I'm covered in cucumber plants. Because these seeds didn't really go through a process that would kind of ensure that they do well, I'm probably not going to worry about these cucumbers. Probably just plow them under. Can't count on a good harvest from immature seed. So anyway, frost will probably take care of them tonight. And since I last talked to you, I added some strawberries between my blueberry plants. And these are the June bearing strawberry plants. They will have runners. So I only planted 4 of them. What I'm hoping is that they will fill out this bed in between the blueberry bushes. A little research told me that the pH of the blueberries and strawberries need to both be on the acidic side, so I thought this was a great fit. I need a ground cover under the blueberries, and strawberries will fill it in no time. Plus, I don't mind eating strawberries. This is another new section that I added. And in here I have planted squash, yellow crooknecks, and zucchini. And they're about a week and 2 days out. And I'm looking right here. I don't know if you can see this. Right about there and right about here, they're germinating. So this is something I've got to worry about covering up tonight. Probably get the old milk jugs out, cut the bottom out, cover them over, and try to protect them. If not, I'll just plant more seed. This This is another new area that I started. In this, I planted amaranth. Maybe my first try growing that, and if you're not familiar with it, you need to look it up. It's a really versatile plant. It grows like a weed, and you can eat the leaves, you can eat the flowers, I believe, and definitely the seeds. The seeds can be ground up just like you would wheat. So I'm looking forward to trying this out, seeing what the greens taste like, if nothing else. And the good part about it is it will drop its own seed and come back next year. It's, as far as I know, it's an annual plant, but it will reseed itself. So once you get it started, it comes right back. And I have some things coming up here, and I'm going to assume that that's it. Since I've never grown it before, I'm not sure. Can't be 100% sure what I'm seeing, but they all look a little similar, so I'm gonna have to believe that's what's coming up. Since my last videos, I've added a couple of fig plants, and they've really got off to a bad start. Right after I planted them, we had a freeze, and I didn't realize that they were so sensitive, so it froze the buds. But now we're getting leaves back, and hopefully everything's going to be okay. In this section, I put up my hoop and covered it with mosquito netting. Reason being, white butterflies. This is kohlrabi and kale, and it's up an inch or two. Got some carrots under there too. Anyway, the white butterflies, if you don't know, they lay eggs on any of the cabbage family plants, and when they hatch out, they decimate the greenery. So I'm going to try this and see if I can keep them off. It's a way to make a barrier without having to spray chemicals on them. As you see up here in the foreground, I got garlic that I planted back in November, I believe. It seems to be growing really well. Sometime late June, July, it should be ready to harvest, and we'll see what we have then. Up here in this bed, I have some leftover kale from where I had my bed hooped over the winter time, and I just trimmed the plants up the other day and froze 3 packs of kale, mainly because I wasn't in the mood for kale. Anyway, I may have jumped the gun here with I put some tomato plants. They're kind of young. Spread them through. They're over in where the kale is too. I think there's a total of 10 brandywines here. But now with the freeze coming tonight, I figure what I might do is pull out my hoop. And I saved the plastic, so I'll throw the hoops back on, put the plastic over them, and hopefully they'll make it through tonight. And even tomorrow night, it's supposed to be 32, which being in the city, we normally are about 1 or 2 degrees warmer than what the weatherman says, so maybe we won't really have a freeze. Anyway, these are some that I started from seed myself, so I was planning on buying probably another, I don't know, dozen and a half tomato plants anyway, so if I have to buy them all, I'll buy them all. Just luck of the draw. I have to try something, and trying to get a jump on the season. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Last year I had everything in the ground and everything was growing well by this time. No threat of frost. And it hadn't been any threat of frost in several weeks now, but of course when everything's germinating, here it comes. So this is some containers that I have with various lettuce mixes in them, and some really scruffy looking tomatoes. I don't know why, but my tomatoes didn't do very well this year that I started. So anyway, over here I have some lettuce. It came up really sparsely, and I've reseeded, and I see little lettuce all through there, so it eventually will fill in and be just fine. And this over here is some various green mix that I had going on over the winter time. it kept getting frostbit, and I kept cutting it off, and it kept coming back. And we still have a little bit of salad from it. It didn't look real good, but hey, what else you gonna grow at this time of the year? Well, it's a little bit of what I got going on in the garden. Hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for updates.